any goats. I just
No
have
goats?
cards.
No
I just got a
goats.
handful of cards.
Don't worry, designated heckler. You're here on the right week.
Yeah, I bet you guys thought Charlie canceled on us, but he did not. He is here. He is here. Yo, 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 YouTube. Welcome back to the Dollar Box Live. We haven't done this for a couple of weeks, so we'll see how it goes. We get out of practice, but we're going without training wheels as usual, and we'll see what happens. So what's new with you, Charlie? It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been nice and steady and predictable. I've struck a
Sounds
good
boring.
balance. I've struck a nice balance between, work and play. Summer is here. Spending a lot of time up at the land in the new camper and bring some card stuff with me up there. So I still, every morning, I wake up there and pour a cup of coffee and sit at the kitchen table or go outside and list some more.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad.
Doesn't sound terrible, right? Out in
No,
the
no.
woods.
My big relief is I haven't really had to list at all.
Yeah.
Store's been full, and I've been selling out of there, and I've been selling more static from whatnot, so I haven't had as much pressure to put stuff in there. But yeah, like you said, I think it's just finding your flow, right? I mean, when you get things nailed down, it does feel pretty good to get it to keep it going.
Seeing a good mix of products go. Sold you probably saw, earlier today, I sold a nice Elvira Mistress of the Dark Omnichrome.
Yeah.
Those I was sitting on those for a long time before I even got them listed. So I'm anxious to see those start moving even more.
Yeah, non-sport stuff has been doing pretty well on that side of things. I still haven't figured out. I've been getting requests from customers too and whatnot to do a non-sport show, and I just can't figure out how to put one together. It's just so random.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I want to do I'll do a Marvel show. Well, I don't really want to do that because I have like some Marvel, but then I have some Star Wars, and I have some like. If I do it, I want to like include a bunch of stuff that I have.
Right.
I don't have to like specifically go get stuff for that show if I don't have to. If I have things I can use.
Do a pony show.
Right, and then that's the other thing. Like that would be fun. I would love to do that, but what am I going to get out of that?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's not really like live audience buying type of stuff. Maybe the pony, maybe the pony trading card game stuff.
Yeah,
maybe you could get an audience for that. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, the times are weird on that stuff for sure. But I did find a whole box of like the.
What happened to Adam there?
There he is. Sorry about that. Screen just went dark. I don't know. I think I had an update to my phone, and I always have it set up where I have like a super long time before my phone goes black. That keeps the screen open. I think it reset that because I noticed that yesterday when I was filling orders. I'm pulling cards and like right now it's already going dark. Within a few seconds, like the camera starts going dark. I'm like, what the heck? So I don't know.
That's the problem I had that caused me to go out and buy some new technology.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not that. It's just the setting on the phone, has to be adjusted. But I found a whole bunch of the blue Spider-Man stuff.
Okay.
Like a whole bunch of stuff, like 1,000 cards of it.
Yeah.
And then some 91 Impel. And then I love it when I find non-sport stuff because it's like the hardest thing to like find to buy.
Yeah.
A bunch of the annuals. Captain America bi-weeklies. Yeah, it's just some fun stuff. The Avengers bi-weeklies. These were the little like promo cards you got with your comic issues.
Yeah.
So I love that stuff. I mean, here's the Surfer. So those are pretty sweet. And then I found a bunch of like the Golden Age, with the different celebrity ones. And then also
the Bionic Man.
And then Americana, right? So all the different actors and actresses and stuff for Americana.
Right. I got the bug for a little bit of retail this week actually. I posted.
Yeah, I saw you bought some boxes, hey?
Yeah, I was out in the neighborhood of Tim's, and I thought, well, how often do I get to stop here where I'm not doing a card show? I don't have people with me that I'm talking to. Like, it's just me and the card shop.
Right.
So I took advantage of it. I got a mega Topps Chrome football.
Did you
I
rip
got
it?
some, yeah,
Okay.
nothing great.
Yeah.
Got some Topps Chrome Marvel Deadpool.
Nice.
Picked up. They had Adam Punk fantasy football wild card, the Mammoths. I know you got the ring light
Yeah.
in there a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, these are really sharp.
Yeah.
I can't get you out of
Who
that
is
light.
that?
That's Bryce Underwood. Yeah, yeah. So that's a one of one,
Nice.
not the true one of one, but so I think that's the donut circles or something like that.
Okay.
But they're pretty cool. Like the back is kind of the same print, but without the parallel.
Sure.
That's they call that a bunker, I guess, in that image. So what else did I get there? They had packs in the wild of Topps Chrome Cosmic. So I grabbed one of those, but that was basketball. I wish it would have been football.
Yeah.
Not cheap, and that was a stinker. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get what, like 4 cards, I think.
4 cards,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, I never see these, just able to get a pack out in the wild. I gotta
Yeah.
try one.
But they charge you $20?
Oh gosh, I wish. I'd be happy if it was only $20, Adam.
Huh?
Try 45 a pack.
No, I would have passed. No way.
Yeah. Well, I won't do it again, but I had to try one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't have to, but you did.
Wow. How often do you see that?
Never.
Exactly.
And that's probably why, because
yeah,
people won't buy it.
Because people buy one pack and they say, "I'll never do that again."
Look at I got Schwartz.
Nice.
Schwartz kid from
Yeah.
Christmas Story.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's fun to do some retail here and there. It's also good for your store just because it pops in some new stuff.
It does, yeah.
Some new, not just new stuff, like new to the store stuff, but like new product stuff,
Yeah.
that people are looking for. And, hopefully you at least get a player of name or some sort of decent insert or something that you can at least
Right.
pop in there to have, get some market out of it. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I haven't bought, I got, some of those, Uno alternate jersey packs.
Okay.
You get 4 packs in a box, I think it is. They were half price at Target, 50% off. So I bought a few of those. The thing I like about this series versus the other ones is the foils are almost all like good players. Like
Yeah.
here's just an example. So this pack is Jameis Winston, not bad for a silver or a foil. And then I got the Chase foil for Bijan Robinson, but I got Josh Allen and I got Pat Mahomes, and actually I just sold a silver Pat Mahomes for I think $15 out of this.
Okay.
So they still sell pretty decent, if you find the right buyer. But yeah, I mean, it's like what, 4 1/4, I think was what it was at half price, and you get 4 packs and you get 2 foils per pack. Like, dude, it's $1 a pack.
Yeah.
And I like the alternate jerseys; they're just cool. So and I'll take all the Cowboys and I'll throw them in my Cowboys box because I got some rabid Cowboys buyers for sure.
Sounds
So
like
anything I get, I mean, I'm pulling out like 1993 Bowman Cowboys because like you're Mark Stepnoski, right? Like, I don't know. There's, for whatever reason, at least in my shows, there's demand for that stuff. Like,
yeah.
here's Charles Haley,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas those cards, I'd be like, oh, those go in a donate box or a dime box at max.
I actually
Like now I throw them in my live team sort. Huh?
I actually sell some of those guys, like Charles Haley. I sell. What's his name? Ken
Norton.
Harvey. Ken Norton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like $1.99, right?
Yeah, $1.
I mean, which is still fine, but
yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I went through so many of them in this last show and a half. I was like, oh crap! Now I got to get more of the boys and stuff them in there. So I don't know. Rabid whatnot buyers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Will my non-sport giveaways be pickleball cards?
Yeah,
I actually sold a pickleball card this week. I had to take a picture and send it to Charlie.
yeah, you did.
It wasn't from a pickleball set. I believe it was Alan and Ginter.
Mhm.
Megan, somebody I think is her name. She's like the best female pickleball player on the planet, I guess.
No, that
I don't
would
know.
be Anna.
I searched her name and they're like, yeah, she's like #1 in the world or something. I thought her name was Megan, but maybe not.
Yeah, Anna Lee Waters, I think, was
Oh, is
number
that what
one.
it is? I
But
don't
I
think that
mean,
was her name.
maybe this year there's been a
Ah,
change. I don't know.
I have zero interest in following any of that. I like anything weird, Alan and Ginter. I buy it and I throw it in.
Yeah,
It all sells eventually, R.L. Stein. I picked up a big stack of R.L. Stein.
R.L. Stein.
The Goosebumps writer.
Yeah,
Um, I picked up a whole stack of his at one point in like a dime box, and those keep selling sporadically. Did I ever tell you I met him like a couple of years
no,
ago? Yeah. So I was doing an event. I used to do Star Wars costuming for those who don't know. And I was doing an event at a library and like he was the guest. And I'm like, okay. I had no idea who he was. Still kind of don't. I mean, I know he wrote the Goosebumps books and I understand those are big, but I have never read one. I don't know anything about them. But anyway, so she's like the lady who was walking him around or whatever brings him into our room and she's like, hey everybody, here's your chance to meet R.L. Stein. And I'm like, hi. I just walk, I'm like, I have no idea who this dude is.
he just kept on walking.
Yeah, just kept on walking while I was trying to get dressed. So I have like my armor stuff on and I'm, putting batteries in my mouth, in my sound system and doing all that stuff. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm so glad I don't do that stuff anymore. What a load of work that was.
I was just gonna
I
say,
really don't have time for that. Yeah, it was fine when it was two of us and single and I wasn't doing cards, but now, no way.
just for the record, Anna Lee Waters is still considered number one. I
Oh,
don't see
okay.
Megan.
I thought it said her name was Megan. I'm probably getting that wrong.
You're
sure
mixing up your pickleball.
I'm sure I know zero about pickleball and I have no shame in that. All right, so what do we got to talk about? We've got some heavy discussion going on about Card Dealer Pro. We got an update on the Goat Show. We are sold out on the main floor, so we'll talk about the Goat Show. Probably do that at the end. Let's see, what else are we doing? I can't remember what the topics are now, and I just put them in there.
Yeah,
I got to go back to the notes.
Yeah, we'll go through some of your live selling momentum. I know you've had some good shows recently.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what you're seeing works, what maybe sometimes doesn't work, and the fact that you're selling static listings out of there too is great. So we'll talk about that a little bit. PSA pausing their lower tier grading services. eBay changing their labels, and some backlash about CDP we've been hearing. A lot of displeasure with some of the choices CDP is making lately.
I think the thing that frustrates me the most is that all the issues they've been having and then they raise all the prices. I understand the raising of prices. I mean, let's face it, everybody's doing that right now or has done it recently. But it's kind of like it doesn't really fit necessarily as well as it did before, especially with a lot more of us doing live selling and things like that. It just doesn't, the demand isn't quite as big as when it once was.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just choosing the smaller plans, scanning until I run out of scans, and then that's it. Everything ends up in a live show outside of that until I have scans again. That's kind of how I've been doing it. And I'm in a good spot because I don't have much room for scans anyway.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but why don't we kick things off with an update on your live selling? That's always, an interesting conversation because for quite a while we talked about, how that probably wasn't going to be the thing that we dove into anytime soon. But you finally committed to it, and you've been having some good success out there.
Yeah, I got a few weeks into it now, and so it's like anything, now I can my shows are always 4:30 a.m. Okay, which everyone told me was crazy, which is exactly
It
why I
is
wanted to do
crazy.
it. Yeah, but I got a crowd on there. I mean, there are times when I've got 30 something in my room, which is pretty good on Whatnot.
Yeah.
Especially for just low end cards and that. Got a pretty decent customer base. I've started, adding giveaways. I've started doing, um, I've even done like some hourly paid promotion, just to get some juice in the room. Like $5 an hour, I'll pay Whatnot to throw some people in my room.
Yeah.
That's an option. Uh, Adding regularly every show, adding not just the inventory in my store, but adding it directly to the show so people can buy right in the show. They can click on your shop during the show and choose cards and buy them. Which is really nice because especially when you run low end, you're going to have a lot of cards you put up that don't get bids,
Hmm.
because you're taking stabs in the dark, and sometimes it's overpriced, if you will, for what the card is. And so I like that because it gives buyers an opportunity. Well, I'm not seeing what I want on screen. I'll go check out what's in the store. And I sell a ton of static listings now, so
Yeah.
I
It
like
feels
I like
like
that part.
it's become clear for you that the live show might not just be the point of sale, it's also a traffic engine.
Yeah, right. And if they buy something in the shop, they're probably not going to buy one card.
Right.
Um, the main key I found to this, I was kind of tentative to even share any of this because I don't know. I'm just more protective now of like things I do versus trying to, everybody else getting in on it. But anyway, um, one of the things that I figured out was that you get free shipping if they buy during the show, which you
Mhm.
can't do when you sell static listings on Whatnot outside of a show. It forces you to do package shipping. So I shouldn't say free shipping. If they buy during the show, they get envelope shipping.
Oh, okay.
Whether you're paying for it or the customer's paying for it, that's up to you. But yeah, so if they buy a static card in there, they can make offers as long as the offer was during the live show. You can check your offers after. If you accept them, they get the envelope shipping, if you have that set up. So it's it's good. I really found that to be a huge piece of success because you might run for 2 hours and sell $200 worth of cards, live, let's say, but you might sell another 50 or $60 during that same show. That took you like zero effort. You don't have to do really anything on the screen to sell that. You just kind of need to tell the customers that, hey, go check out the shop too. Um,
Yeah.
the other thing is, like, I had a request for Shador Sanders rookies, right, in this last show. And I knew I didn't have any pre-sorted in my box. I'd actually sold out of most of my Shador stuff, but I knew I had a few listed in the shop. So I said, well, I don't have any on hand right here, but yeah, there's some in the shop, at a good price. Go check those out. So it was nice because I could still meet the request, but I didn't have to really take away from my show. I could just move on to the next card,
Yeah.
and keep presenting. So I really like that option. That's really been a nice added chunk of success. And the thing that's good about that is it sort of filters down some of your chaos selling, like you don't know what price you're going to get. Those items you priced. So it does add a little bit more like sure thing, as far as like margin wise, during the show. Because
Hmm.
the shows can be all over the place. I'm going to take a chance. I think I got some good people in the room. I'm going to put a $10 card up and start it at $2 and it sells at $2. Right. And
Yeah.
you're like, damn, I could have put that in my shop for $10 and gotten it right. But then there's other times where you put up a 99-cent card and you get like $10 or $11 for it. So
Hmm.
it does kind of to some degree level out, and you start getting better at it as you do more shows of like, okay, I know I've got three you know Steelers buyers in here. I'm gonna just keep pumping Steelers stuff up and see if these guys will compete,
Yeah.
um, and get bids on them. And you can kind of throw anything up if it's a team buyer. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be Tom Brady only or Patrick Mahomes only. If it's a Dolphins buyer, you might be able to sell some. I've been selling a lot of Devon Shane recently, or uh, Jalen Waddle, right? Like, yeah,
Hmm.
those things that are maybe not as easy to move in the store unless you find that team buyer. Um, I feel like, at least for me, tends to do better on my live shows. Because once I know that buyer's there and they're there for that, I'm
Yeah.
now presenting cards that, are going to likely have a sale. The other thing I like about requests, this so psychologically, right? So you come into my show and I'm running cards and you say, "Hey, you got any dolphins?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. I'll run this card and then let me grab you some dolphins and I'll put up something cool." You kind of feel an obligation to bid, right? Because you made the
You asked
request, I
for it.
put something
Yeah.
up, and you might be like, it's not the greatest card, but it is kind of what I asked for. And the guy took the time to do it. I'll throw him the $2. It's the same thing with giveaways. Most of the time when I have somebody win a giveaway that hasn't bought anything, they stick around and they'll buy something in the show. Might only be one card. But that also saves you because then you don't have to pay for any shipping on that free card.
Sure.
Because the giveaways I do is I just choose a card from the show that didn't sell. Now, if you buy cards and let's say you buy all Bears cards, well, the giveaway card I'm going to give you is going to be a Bears card. Right? Like I try to make it fit to what you're interested in. If you didn't buy anything, I don't care what card I send you. It's going to be whatever I choose. So that's kind of how I do it, and that's how I think the key there is to not just it to me it makes no sense to just keep putting cards on the screen and no one's bidding. Like, what's that getting you? Are you wasting your time? You're wasting their time. Are they going to follow you? And even if they do, are they going to come back and be like, "That's the dude who never puts anything on screen I want"? So if you've got somebody who's like, "Hey, I want to buy," a lot of times too, people when they come in the streams, they're there for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
They've got 5 minutes, in between waiting for their bus to get to work or whatever the case may be. They got 5 minutes. They come into your stream, they're like, "Dude, do you have any of this player?" You pop them up, they buy 5 quick, and they say, "Hey, that's all I got time for, thanks today," and they bounce, and you ship them their 5 cards. So you have to kind of try to fit the time slot of the buyer, especially the time slot I do, because I'm mostly getting people who are just coming back to end their day, and want to get to sleep or whatever if they're third shifters, or people who are kind of getting up and getting ready for the day and now their day has to begin and they can't just sit on whatnot.
Yeah. You're doing good out there. I think you definitely make a good point about feeding those requests. I think there's a lot of value in that. You mentioned chaos before, though. You know how I love to talk about live selling is chaos theory, right? Like,
I mean, of course, yeah, sure is.
You've also mentioned where you can sell the same type of cards from one room to the next, and you're killing it in one room, and they die in the next room too. It's still just you can control your inputs to try and minimize the poor results, but ultimately you can't control the room, and the room is what matters. Who you get in there for buyers, the vibe in that room, and that's where that chaos still comes in. Like you said, you can have the exact same thing in 2 rooms, and it's a dog in one and a hero in the other one, and that is tough to adjust to for someone like me, because I like predictability. Like in static selling, we have market trends, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have market trends in live selling. You have room conditions.
Yeah, I mean, there are some trends. There are players that are hot and that kind of thing. Like Webanyama right now, you can kind of sell anything, and get pretty close to market, I would think, on most of his cards. But yeah, there's definitely that variable to it. That can be to your advantage. It can be to your disadvantage if you're not paying attention. So it's reading the room, almost exactly to quote that old saying. And there's a bee on my camera. My camera just told me outside. That's pretty funny. I've never seen that before. But so like the '90s Cowboys cards, right? I was getting $4 or $5 a pop for. I'm not going to keep putting those on the screen if nobody's going to bid, right? So you have to. I think to some degree, if you go in there hard horse hairy, like this is exactly what I'm going to do today, and no one's going to take me off of this, man, you're really stuck because if you don't get the people in there to support that, and I'm not going to put a $10 card up at $2 if I don't think I'm going to have bidders that are going to put in the effort to take it there, that are going to be interested in it. So you start running some low end, 90s, Cowboys and they're selling at $4 or $5 a pop, and then somebody's like, put up a nice Troy Aikman. Well, I'm more apt to do that because I'm already getting that action, and now I have people in the room that would be interested in that, and
Yeah,
should in theory be able to at least bid it up to market or even better.
that's the room conditions I'm talking about. So
Right.
you're playing to the room conditions. You're
Correct.
reading the room and adjusting. So
That's how
I
I
think,
do it. No, not everybody does their show that way. And, if you start getting huge audiences, if you have 60, 80, 100 people in your room, probably don't have to do that too much because you should have all these different little buying pots of people. But
I don't
sometimes I
know.
only have 12 or 13 people in the room. Only 2 or 3 of them are bidding and they all hate the Brewers. Well, why the hell would I put Brewers cards up? Like that's not going to
Right.
go anywhere. And I'm not going to take a nice, Mizorowski $10 rookie and start it at $2 when I don't have Brewers buyers. Somebody will probably throw the $2 at it, right? So just because, well, this is a good deal and I
Speaking of
could trade it
those,
or flip it or do something like that. Right.
love it.
Um, so now you're just going to undersell it where I could just throw it in the store and it was, that's the beauty, I think, of having both sources, right? I don't
Mhm.
have to list something on live. If I don't feel like I can get what I need on it, in a live stream, I list it in the store and then I just sell it
Yeah.
there. I had do you know who Stephen Castle is or Stephen Castle?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that name.
Pretty big star for the Spurs. Wembanyama's right hand man, I guess if you want to call it that. I think he's their power forward. Anyway, his stuff's pretty hot right now. Spurs are going to the final and this and that. I was putting up. I struggle. Basketball's always been a tougher sell for me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I was throwing some stuff in Castle, like base rookies up in a show, on request. And I was getting the $2-3 bids, basically what they go for. Well, I had a really nice Ray Wave Prism uh rookie. And I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna get to the $10 on this, and I would list this in my store at $10. So I didn't. I didn't put it in the show at all, even though I was getting some stuff in bidders. Now,
Yeah.
could it have gotten to $10 or more? Sure. I just didn't have. You have to get, just like selling on eBay and just like buying at a card show. You have to get a feel for what I can buy, and you have to start building margins in your head and things like that. And I
Yeah.
just felt like it wasn't going to be worth it. Like it was too much risk to put it up to try to get the money because he's a hot player right now, I could just list it in the store, which is what I did. And it sold in a day for my $10 price.
Yeah.
So I will take the sure thing over the let's see how it goes thing over here. But to sell a pile of Justin Jefferson base cards this time of year to a buyer in a show at $4 a base card,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but you're not going to get that listing them in eBay. So it's a great way to be able to say, hey, this stuff's moving over here. I know that I'm not going to get that in my store. I'm just going to keep pumping those up and
Mm-hmm.
letting them sell, because then you get that velocity, you get that sales volume, which sometimes is hard with eBay because it's subjected to somebody's own time of making that purchase versus you're putting it in on a short term and they got to quick make a decision to buy.
That's a great example, but my counter to that is you never know how many cards you're going to have to go through or how many shows you're going to have to sit through before you hear or feel that feedback and can react on it. So
Yeah, I would say just like when you first start on eBay, you're not going to have 100 sales in a day, right? Like you got to build some following, you got to, get some sales experience, you got to know, get some sales so that you understand like, okay, these are the things I buy because I can sell those in my store. It's really the same thing with live. I have a pretty regular customer base now already on Whatnot that will come into my shows in the morning, and I acknowledge when they're there, hey, thanks PIS Vince for visiting again. Hopefully, hey, I know you like your Cowboys cards. I got a couple of good ones here for you. And then you can even start sourcing based on your customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
90s Cowboys cards, I'd probably flip past those in a dime box and not even consider them, whereas now I'm going to be like, oh, I'll probably just buy all those,
Yeah.
Hopefully, especially get it a bulk deal. But it does a lot. It allows you to move a lot more cards a lot quicker, as long as you're buying things that your live audience is going to want to bid. If nobody bids, you don't sell anything. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So
That's the big difference we talked about for a long time, though. The passive nature of static. You list a stack of cards and you're like, if they don't sell this week, so what? Right?
Right.
Like you've always been really good at saying, look, I don't sweat the inventory cost. Like
And
I
I
know
still
I'll
don't.
sell at
I
some
still
point.
don't. That hasn't changed.
You know, but live selling, I think you have to be a little more conscious of that because you're putting that time in right now.
Right.
And if you're consistently running into low sales or slow sales, you've got to adjust.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, okay, so here's a stack of cards I got set for tomorrow morning's show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to prepare for your show too. I've jumped in on a lot of streams just to kind of see what other people are doing, and they're bad. There's a lot of really bad ones where they just don't have anything prepared. They've got no energy. They have really no connection to the audience. There is an entertainment factor to it. Now, I feel fortunate because I have my time on YouTube and I'm just naturally a person who talks a lot and remembers names and, all those kinds of things that are very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say I start running through 8 or 10 of these and like nothing's moving. There's no interest. Nobody wants to bid. And then somebody comes in and says, hey, those are nice cards, but do you have any, Oklahoma City Thunder cards or
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Brunson cards or something like that? I'm going to switch and start putting up Jalen Brunson cards. I got somebody in the room ready to buy because they wouldn't ask for them if they didn't, if they weren't truly interested. Why would they waste their time? And now, boom, I'm selling some Jalen Brunson cards. That wasn't my initial intention. However, anything I have sitting in the box, I'm more than willing to sell.
Yeah.
I also think your price point matters. So if you're going to do all high end cards, for example, and you're going to start everything at $1 bid, you better make sure you have bidders. If your inventory for your live shows is you intend it to be $100 plus cards and you're starting at $1, you got to make sure those are shiny, they look nice, they're hot players, all that ball of wax. Put them in your one touches so everything looks important, right? Even if it's a $2 card. But I'm mostly buying like bulk 50-cent boxes at like $70 a box. So I'm paying like 6 cents a card. If I only get $2 bids out of every sale I made in that show, I made profit on every single one of those cards.
Yeah.
And then on top of it all, one of the things we talked about for a long time with eBay is you don't want a one card sale, you want a multi-card sale. And every single one of my shows, I've had a few buyers that have come in and bought the bulk of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have a couple buyers that'll buy 3 cards, 4 cards, 2 cards, 1 card. Let's say I have 22 different orders in a show. Maybe half of those are 1 and 2 card orders. The other half are a couple of 3s and 4s, and then a 20 card order and a 42 card. I had one guy order 93 cards for me,
Mm-hmm.
In one show. Well, that's $5 worth of shipping, and I got $2 per card.
Yeah.
For cards I paid 6 cents a piece for. Whatever it comes out to on a 5,000 count box, that's $75.
Mm-hmm.
Not very much. So, and the other thing is, like you said earlier, you don't know what you're going to get in that live room, and that's true. And if it doesn't work in this show, you can run it again in another show.
True. Yeah.
And then should be able to get some bites at some point if they're cards people actually want. Like if you're not good at this, I don't know what I can tell you. If you're not good at picking cards that other people would want to buy and having a margin to those, there's probably no real reason for you to watch this show, and you're not going to be involved in that process anyway. So I mean that's the base. You at least have to have that, and then you just have to figure out how do you put that into a show, how do you work that into static inventory. So one of my greatest motivations to get as head first into this as I could was I have a full store, and it sells down. I sell a couple thousand cards every couple of weeks, and then I list more in, but I don't have that freedom to just like pump out a whole bunch of stacks of cards in that shop unless I upgrade the shop, which I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the live selling does a couple things for me. Not only do I get, have cards that I don't have to list, right? I just grab them out of the box, I sell them, and I ship them, and I'm done. But I also sell static inventory out of my essentially eBay store, right? I mean, they're on Whatnot, but it's eBay inventory.
Right.
That now opens more space that I can scan in more cards to sell on the static side.
something that caught my attention talking about the static listings too is we often hear about how, well, when I live sell, I don't have to do all that listing, but you're missing out if you don't. It's true, you don't have to do listing yet, but if you really want to optimize live selling, it doesn't replace or eliminate listing. Like,
No,
you could really
it's
be doing a
it's
static store as well.
yeah, it's really the same amount of time. It's just your time is different. That's all
Mm-hmm.
it is. And we've talked about that forever. I knew that right away going in on it. But that time that, I was constantly spending listing when I was building the store, I have that time available to me now,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't have as much of that. So this is the perfect thing to complement that and the best way to spend that time to increase those sales, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going well. I've figured a lot of things out. I'm having a good time with it. I just had my last onboarding class finally yesterday with eBay Live. What a freaking process they put you through. Um, I have to do a live one-on-one show with my trainer or whatever you want to call him, my partner from eBay. And then I'm free to go for it. So I have the platform. I've built a couple of draft shows, and it's not going to be hard to do it. Like I understand how it all works. So
So how many
two
devices do you have to use?
you have to have more than one device. God damn it. Like, when I was on this call this week, so you're on with like a few other sellers, right? It's kind of like the whatnot onboarding that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, oh, well, you can use your phone can be your camera. And I'm like, okay, makes sense. And then he's like, and then this is your console and you have to hit start auction and do all that on the PC. I'm like, this is insane.
I
So,
can just imagine you sitting there.
oh my God, it's no fun at all. So I was like, I don't like this at all, but I think it's kind of what you get used to too. The first few whatnot shows I did, I was doing some stuff on the PC and doing some stuff on my phone because I was creating listings as I went, which I later found out is a terrible idea. You need to have all that stuff preloaded in your show. You can list, 100 items within seconds, if you do it before your whatnot show because you just list them all as duplicates and then it just numbers them sequentially. So I can fill my auction spaces on a live show within seconds. Um, giveaways, you got to build one by one, but I only do a few per show. I don't like constantly run a giveaway like I know some people do.
Mhm.
But yeah, so the eBay thing is a little bit cumbersome, more cumbersome than I believe it needs to be. And that's probably something they're going to work on, and they'll eventually just have like a live app, that only the sellers have access to, and you can go in that app and run your show there instead. And
That'd be nice.
I don't know, because you get a private link to this console. It's not something they add directly to your eBay account. Like I don't log into eBay and go live and then run a show. I have to go to this link that they give me that my user, has been built on this console and then run it on there. So anyway, so I've got that done. I scheduled my one-on-one live, I think on Tuesday, because you have to grab a spot in their calendar, and that was the one that was available that could work for me. So that'll go fine. I have obviously no hesitation about running a one-on-one live, showing them what I can do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll schedule my first real show after that. We'll kind of see what I get, see what audience I get. The main reason I'm still interested in eBay Live because I'm still kind of like screw you eBay Live, and I will be till the end of my time because that's how I am. I believe I could get a different audience on eBay Live than what I get on Whatnot, and I like that part because I feel like I have some cards like, oh, these will be great on Whatnot Live, and then I have some other cards where I'm like, well, this could be good for a live sale, but I don't think it'd be great on Whatnot, and I'm hoping it would be good on eBay Live. So I'm kind of sorting that stuff out in my brain and seeing where it goes. There are still a lot less sellers on eBay, but there are not very many buyers. You go in there and look at it now that there's more sellers, and those buyers are spread thin. Most of the live buyers, they're committed to Whatnot. They're having more fun on there. The experience is a little better. eBay's kind of old fogey, right? That's That's like us using Facebook. The kids don't use Facebook, right? They use, I don't know, Chapsnat or whatever their thing is.
IG.
Swatter. Yeah. TikTok, right? So we're kind of that old, social media generation. Well, it's kind of how eBay is for sales, which is great for static, right? Because you have those static buyers and they know I go to eBay and that's where I buy my cards. Which is why we all do it there. But the live experience, I believe, is a little different. So just have to see. I don't have to have a commitment to it. They will kick you off the system if you don't have enough sales and you don't run enough shows. And I'm like, okay, well, that seems pretty dumb on your part, but whatever. After you put in the time and effort to set somebody up, who cares if they do one show every 2 months? What difference does it make? But whatever, that's their prerogative. They have to be special or whatever. So yeah, but I found a place with Whatnot. Screw eBay. I went and dove headfirst on Whatnot and got some experience on that. I have a friend of mine who sells pallet stuff on there, and she's been doing it for a while. And sat down and chat with her a little bit, like what works good, what doesn't. How to kind of keep an open mind to what your show can be. And I've found that I've got some customers, and already I've got my following is up to 1.4 thousand. 1,400 followers. So seeing some decent growth there, and just try to keep it going. eBay is going nowhere. I am listing static on eBay until the day my body no longer breathes a breath. I still get great sales on there. I still fill those orders. I still ship. I still send coupons. I still do all those things. Oh, that's the other thing too with selling on eBay Live. I'm hoping that helps boost some store sales too, kind of like Whatnot does. So if nothing else, if I do a few live shows on eBay and I sell, static, that still would be worth it.
Yeah.
Basically the way I look at my Whatnot show is I'm making a giant 2-hour commercial, pushing selling my inventory. Not the card that's on screen. I mean, I am selling the card on screen. That's the one you can immediately get within the 10 seconds.
Right.
But I'm really doing a commercial for the whole shop worth of stuff. Right? The candy bar at the checkout,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. So I think that is the eBay live sellers, and I'm not going to mention any names, but it's back to reality. Like those cards that were going for $36 that are $1 cards aren't going for $36 anymore.
Sure.
Getting 60 buyers in your stream that's not happening anymore. Now you're getting 15 buyers in your stream.
Mm-hmm.
So that reality wake up of that calm down has occurred. So I think you still have to look at like the full picture for your business and be able to serve a bunch of different customers. Just doing live shows, I still don't think is the best way to do it. Unless you have a specific following, you're getting these giant numbers. So there's another, ironically, it's a goat as their logo, but there's another singles buyer that does 4:30 a.m. shows. And I can tell he's been doing it for a long time because he just has like 40 people in there at all times.
Yeah.
Every morning. And just he's not a big flashy dude, doesn't do anything fancy. Just, here's a Ricky Henderson, here's a Roger Clemens. Just pops these cards up and they get little bids here and there. And he's just taking a 5-row, quarter or 50-cent box and just keeps popping up cards and they just keep selling.
Right.
And you can tell that he's, spent a lot of time and does it every morning, and has those buyers. He doesn't have to put a ton of more effort into the fact that he's got to start the show and have cards to put on the screen. He doesn't put anything in the shop. He doesn't cross sell anything. He doesn't promote it. I like to talk during my shows and do a little bit of auctioneer for some entertainment value, when I get bids and, kind of have a style that way. That's not required though. If you can build something and you get the customers that want your show or want to buy with the types of things you're selling, that's all you need. So you just got to figure out what that is. And it's gonna be different for everybody.
So
I don't do a lot of talking or wasting time. We were talking about that too earlier.
Yeah.
I do see my time as value on there, and if I'm going to do a 2-hour show, I want a couple $100. I want $100 an hour. on those sales. That to me is a pretty solid number for my $10 worth of investment in the cards at max. But so I put a card up, I do the 10 seconds, that's done. Put the card up, do the 10 seconds, that's done. The only talking I do is while that card is being bid on. I don't take a card down, leave a blank screen. Sometimes it's a blank screen once in a while when it's like, hey, do you got any of this guy? And I know I got a stack of them, so I take a second to go grab them. I try to put another card on and run it while I'm digging it out. But you guys know, sometimes trying to grab a stack of cards and it isn't always, completely instant. You got to kind of grab them, and maybe it's in a pile and I got to pick a few out, whatever the case may be. But that's what I do. I keep it moving. I put a lot of cards on the camera, in my shows.
Yeah.
And then I just change it up based on what's actually being bid.
Right. So speaking of the 2 hours, we do have a question about the margins in there. Professor Moose Knuckle is with us tonight. And he's wondering if you really feel the juice is worth the squeeze on the $1.99 free shipping cards. He says it may only be 2 hours a show, but that's a lot of envelopes a package for 65 cents a pop. I think your margin's a little better than that.
It's better than what it is static selling. And I sell cards at $2 static selling free shipping. Yeah. So a couple things there. First of all, like I said earlier, I don't get a lot of like one card buyers. Packing the envelopes, not that big a deal. I would be doing that with static selling anyway. And the cards are already there. They're already pulled and ready to go. You just have a stack and you just keep feeding your envelopes and you're done with it. Now, let's say I sell one single card to a buyer, okay? And I'm pulling it out of my 50-cent boxes that I bought in bulk. So I paid, let's say, 8 cents a card for argument's sake. I get about $1 out of that card after shipping and the 8% to whatnot and the 30-cent plus 2.9% for the card transaction fee, so on and so forth. So my 8-cent card nets me $1. But I can do that all within 10 minutes of acquiring it. There's no sitting on it. So it's a nickel today versus the dime tomorrow, maybe. Argument. Now, if that buyer buys, let's say 3 cards, right? And all I get is the $2 bid on those 3 cards, I get $6. Now, I only pay 1 shipping fee. So instead of $1 per card, I make $1 just on that first card, right? Because you do have the shipping no matter what when you sell 1 card. But then the other 2 cards, now I'm making $1.78 because all I'm paying for is that. Well, I guess it's less than that because it's 30 cents plus 2.9%.
Right.
Plus 8% commission. So let's say I make 60 cents, $1.60 on each of the other 2 cards. That's pretty decent return for something you paid 8 cents for. And you're doing a whole bunch of those in a short period of time. So, the money stacks.
Yeah.
Now in these 50-cent boxes, I'll get better stuff in there too. Like I've got some Mike Trout refractors. Well, I can get like $10 a piece for those. So, you're going to, just like anything you do in cards, if you're buying bulk, you're going to have some cards that are going to net you a bigger return than others. Yeah. I did have them in a baseball show. I had a Mike Trout battle with a couple of bidders that kept going back and forth. Even on some base Trouts, I was getting $5-6 a piece for them, which I won't ask for that in the store. I'd ask $2.99. So you can create some increase that way too if you've got the right things going on in the stream. Then there's another baseball stream where I put up a decent Mike Trout card, maybe a card I would ask $4 or $5 for in my store, and I don't even get a bid. Well, that's it. I'm done with Mike Trout in this show. I'm not putting any, because I don't want a bunch of $5 cards going for $2 when I can get $5 in the store. So it's really all about, okay, what's happening today? And you really have to be alert. You really have to pay attention. And then you can protect those margins by, just because I have this stack of cards that I intend to run in this show, I don't have to run them. That's the beauty of it. If I'm like, I don't think I've got the bidders in here to get enough money for this card, I just don't put it in the show. I set it aside. Maybe I'll run it in another show. Maybe I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to list it in the store. And I know it's, a hot enough player. I still list stuff in the store and sell it the same day. So I still can get just enough velocity, just as much velocity on certain cards. static as I can doing it live, and I don't have to take the risk on the sale price.
Yeah. So, he says the math isn't working out for him. So it's still 74 cents for an envelope for
Yep.
a single card, right?
Yep.
So I forgot about the 30 cents processing fee too. So that's $1 right there on a
Correct.
single card. Plus you have
And then my
your
cost, which let's say it's 8 cents in this example.
8 cents, yeah.
Yep.
Your label, your protection, your
Yep.
sleeve,
Plus 8% to whatnot.
right. So it would be a little
He's
less than
probably not
$1 a
wrong. It's
card, I
probably
think.
it's probably somewhere 65 to 75 cents. Yep.
Yeah,
Now that's only if you sell one single card
correct.
though.
A single,
See that
yeah.
number boosts up. That's the exact actually that's less that's actually more money than you'd make if you sold it static on eBay though, because you'd have that 12.5%.
Right.
So you're still
Um,
doing better than on eBay, and it's that instant sale, right? You don't have to scan it and do all that. You just
yep.
put it in an envelope. So
And you're
there's a
still,
little time savings on the sales portion of it.
much like static selling, you're still aiming for those cart builders, right?
Right.
Because you can consolidate shipping, then you spread out your shipping expense, and you can still keep it in envelope shipping. Depending on the cards, I mean, you can go 18, 20 cards and still pay $1.30, whatever it is, $1.34 or something like that before it kicks over to Ground Advantage.
No, not on Whatnot.
No.
So here's the one downside to Whatnot.
Okay.
Once they're over 5 items, it automatically goes to a package.
Automatically on 5. Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
if they bought the 6th card, basically 2 of their cards you're gonna not make any money on because you're gonna need that $4 to ship it.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's a hole there in the cart building where
Correct.
you're crossing your fingers they do more than that.
Or less.
Yes.
Right. So ideally you want all 5 card sales and like 20 card sales.
Yeah.
But that's par for the course. There's just times where, but okay, an average show for me, okay? Obviously every show is different. We've already been through that. So anybody who wants to jump on here and say, I watched your show and it doesn't do that. Watch every show and you'll see some difference. So if you, on an average show, I have, let's say 20 buyers. Okay. That's pretty average out of my entire stream. I'll have 5 to 6 to 7, let's say 5 to 7 buyers that buy 1 card.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll have another 4 or 5 buyers that buy 2 to 4 or 5 cards, right? So you're still under that package shipping. Mm-hmm. Then I might have 1 or 2 that buy like 7 cards, right? So you just hit that package number and that's just part of it. You're still making profit on all the other cards, but there's a couple cards in there that you're not going to make anything due to the shipping expense.
Right.
And then I have at least 2 or 3 buyers that are buying like 18 cards, 25 cards, 30 cards, whatever. That's what basically the typical results of a show are for me. Now, not everybody's going to have the same. Yeah. And I mean, I know there's a troll in here and that's fine. I mean, he can say whatever he wants, but I'm just telling you what my experience is. And, if somebody else is having a different experience, that's fine. Then you share that. But this is what I've been through with my live selling.
Yeah.
Now, is every show a success? No. There are shows where I intend to run 2 hours and I end up cutting it at an hour and 15 minutes because it's just not running hot enough. And I don't want to stick any promotion money into it because it's just not really going. And I make my lowest show that I've ever sold was $73. But it was still $73 for an hour and a half of time on screen. And I still sold a few static cards in that show. But that's not a strong show. I would much rather do better than that. But that's where I think it's important too, to know when it's just not happening and you can pull the plug and then use that time to do something else.
Yeah.
A little bit more productive and a little bit more, monetarily, useful,
Yeah.
if you will.
So that was educational for me because having not done a live show, I have not been able to use Whatnot's envelope shipping. Everything
Mhm.
I sell with Whatnot is ground advantage because it's all on the static side. So I did not know that they automatically move it up after 5 cards. Johnny M actually reminds us that envelope shipping for 1 ounce is
Correct.
78 cents. I do
Yes.
recall seeing
Yep.
something about that.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
charge like the regular rate for a stamp, which is 78 cents.
Yeah.
But it does print 74 cents on the envelope. So they're
Oh,
I don't know
does
why
it?
they do that. So I guess they're just keeping the 4 cents off of it, but hey, I don't know. Thing
Yeah.
It costs money to do stuff. That's how it is. It's still a lower percentage than what you're paying if you're selling it static. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the other nice thing about selling in Whatnot. Um, oh no, I is it is there is the fee 8% if you sell it static and whatnot too, or does the fee go up percentage?
I
Because
don't recall what it
it's
is off the top
8%
of
on
my
a live sale, but it's not. I don't know if it is on a static. I can't remember.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at some of my statics. Let me see if I can get a quick breakdown maybe.
Yeah.
8%. Commission is 8%. And then
Okay.
payment processing is 2.9 plus 30 cents.
Yep. Yep. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's the same expenses either way.
Yeah.
But so here's what I tried doing for a little while, and I did the math, and it's too iffy if you have a single card sale. But I was doing $1 starts, and the buyer pays the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is if you sell one card, you get basically $1.78, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you get the dollar for the sale, they pay the 78 cents for the shipping.
Right.
So if I do a $2 start, I'm getting 22 cents more money, which helps you cover that 30 cents plus the 2.9%
Right.
a
That
little bit
makes sense.
better. So
Yeah.
that was my theory behind it. I have a lot of people that jump in my show and they're like, "Oh, we love the free shipping," because they just like to know what it's costing them today to do this thing.
Yeah.
Versus, okay, well, if I bought 4 cards, well, I got to make sure I buy one more card so that I'm only paying the $3 shipping, and this one doesn't cost me then for shipping because I paid that ounce rate already, and then you got to put weights in on everything, and like that's the reason I do free shipping on eBay. I don't want to deal with that. I just want to sell it and ship it out. So
I do like
I just overprice it to figure in the expense, and I put the card up for $2. If somebody's like, "Hey, I wouldn't pay $2 for that. I'd only pay $1 for that." That's better for me to not sell it then.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I do
And if
like the idea of free shipping because that's always kind of been an annoyance to me when I'm shopping and whatnot. Because the first thing I got to do is figure out what kind of shipping are they calculating? Because it's like the Wild West. It's all over the place out
Yeah.
there.
And some people
Um,
put on their shows max shipping 921. Well, that's literally the max shipping that Whatnot offers.
yeah,
So you're really not offering any kind of a deal. And when I got onto Whatnot, I wanted to figure out what was going to work what best for me. And then I wanted to figure out what is something I can do on Whatnot that not a lot of other people are offering, right? When you're not the first to the game, you got to figure out what's a way I can try to make the game better or make the game different for somebody else that's in here that maybe is looking for something different.
yeah,
And that's what I found to be successful for me. No, not everybody should do a $2 starts free shipping. And I'm not promoting, any way I do it. I'm just sharing my story, my experience, and the way I like to do it. And
yeah,
um, it's actually fun. I hated doing live shows the first 4 or 5 I did. They weren't very successful. It was cumbersome. And sure, anything time you do something new, you're going to have some of that experience naturally.
yeah,
Um, but I didn't like being on screen, and I didn't really, like used car salesmen doing the cards. But I've taken a different approach to it now. I look at it more like a YouTube show. So, when people are in the stream, I'm like, hey, just come in and hang out. I don't care if you don't buy anything. Just let's tell stories. Let's do whatever. I try to make it more of a hangout, and then hopefully there's something that they're interested in that I can offer and they can buy, and we can all just have a good time together and, talk about some cool cards.
yeah.
Because inevitably there's somebody that jumps in my stream and says, "Got any slabs? Um, got any downtowns? Got any autos and patch RPA patches?" And I'm like, I just kind of try to say sporadically throughout the show, I don't sell that kind of stuff. I just sell what I think are just fun collector cards.
Yeah.
You want downtowns? Nothing wrong with that. There's lots of streams that are doing that. Go jump out and go to one of those. I take no offense, but that's just not what you're going to find here. That's not the cards I sell. And that would be going against my brand to some degree to start doing. I'm called the dollar box, for Christ's sake. Now I could change it and call myself the $2 box, I suppose.
There you go.
Inflation, the dollar box has inflation, just like the dollar store is no longer a dollar, people. But I like that $2 mark. It's still low enough that you can get a lot of, entry bids on lower end cards, base cards, things like that. Yet you're still, based on what you paid for the cards, of course, there's still margin in there for you to make it worth your time. Now, if you don't think it's worth your time, then don't do it. I don't care. I'm just telling you, where I'm coming from and how it fits for me.
Yeah. Johnny,
and you have to ask yourself something. If somebody's selling it downtown for $500, what did they pay for
it? Downtown
$490
shelf. Oh, what did they pay for it?
Right.
Yeah, probably.
And they're starting it at, let's say, $1 auction. Of course, the downtown's not going to end at $1. I get that, but it might not get to that 500.
Right.
So you're seeing those actions, and just kind of like Moose Knuckle Dude in here pointed out earlier. He's like, how do you know you're even going to get that? I've watched your shows and cards only go for $2. Well, a lot of them do. But a lot of them don't. Also, I can share pictures if you guys really want to see. I've sent some to you in chat. That Adrian Peterson Chickley card I sold.
Yeah.
$11 I got for that card. I'd list that card at $2, maybe $3 max in the store. So
yeah.
It is every card I put up in that show that kind of sale? No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Johnny here says he does 78-cent shipping and a $3.99 max, and once buyers hit that threshold, they usually buy a lot more.
I think that's a fantastic strategy. And I think there's a lot of other sellers that use that too. I've seen some do $4.99 max. So I think $3.99 is a good move because it just gives you that little bit of edge.
Differentiator.
And it's $1 difference. Like, it's not really going to hurt you out of pocket, when it's over $4 to ship it. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways to do it. You just got to find out, what works for you. I've always been a free shipping guy on eBay. I'm trying to, when I put myself on Whatnot, I'm still trying to be the brand and the business of as to how I sell on my static sales. So I'm trying to build some consistency there. And, if you come to me and you buy something, that's all you're going to pay, because everything else is inside that.
Yeah.
I still think $1 with charging shipping starts makes 0 sense if you're going to sell a lot of cards at $1, because you're better off selling it at $2 and not charging shipping.
Right.
Because that was one of my annoyances when I was doing the $1 one, because every card that sells in a live pays that 30 cents because they charge you immediately. So it's not like on eBay where they put 10 cards in their cart, they only pay the 1 30-cent fee.
Yeah.
That's not how it works on live selling. If they buy 10 cards, they paid 30 cents on each one of those 10 cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to make up for.
It is.
When it's quantity. I had the guy buy 93 cards for me. Take 93 times 30 cents. That's a decent chunk of money.
It is.
That, hits me. That's money that doesn't get deposited to me, that has to go to Visa or, Fiserv or whoever's clearing their transactions.
That's like what, almost $28, something like
that?
Yeah.
So you have to have, now that buyer was also overpaying for some cards too. So that's nice too. But even so, I was selling them 1990 Topps Ricky Henderson cards for $2 that I got out of a nickel box.
Yeah.
Or probably didn't even pay for it, because a lot of those come from Gabe, and Gabe charges me for the quarter and 50-cent cards and give me all the dime cards for free. That would have been out of the dime box. I wouldn't even had to pay for it. So, it's the same game as eBay. You still have to figure out some margins. You still have to figure out what is my risk, for the downside and the upside. It's like taking offers, right? Well, how low of an offer can I take where I still make some money on this thing? Well, it's sort of Dutch to that, where you're starting it low and hoping it goes higher instead of starting it higher and hoping it doesn't go too low.
Yeah.
So it all has to do with, having some solid strategy to it and a little bit of protection in place so that you know that you can make it through it. And John, I've been in your streams, and you're right. I've seen people where once they start getting a few cards, then they start piling it on. I've had that same experience though, doing it with the free shipping. So I think you're just going to get buyers that they're in there to buy. They're in this stream. They're only going to be on here for a half hour. You got their attention, put cards up they want to buy, and they will just keep bidding. I've had runs from buyers in a row where the 10th card I put up and it's still them bidding. They're the only one in the room bidding. They just keep taking everything at $2 and piling it up. So there's also an algorithm to the giveaway that does reward those who participate in the chat or make purchases. So your giveaways are going to favor, I know they say it's random. I do not believe that based on what I've seen. The giveaway is going to favor someone who's participating in the show, not just in the room and in the background.
Yeah.
Not always. Like, you can still get a winner who doesn't buy anything from you or chat at all. But I mean, I've literally had it where there's 10 entries in my giveaway and I'm currently talking in chat to somebody, and then it rolls through and the winner is the guy I'm chatting with. Like, it's just, and that kind of thing has happened more than, than I would have thought it would have. I thought it would have been a little bit more random, but I feel like that the algorithm kind of gives them bonus points in their entry.
Sure.
So, but that's on Whatnot. You have nothing to do with the giveaway. Whoever wins. That's up to that algorithm. So it's not like you're favoring anybody, but I do believe Whatnot does.
Technical break here. Can you hear me? I hit the button to cough, and I wasn't sure if I got it back on the right setting there.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So
I have to keep getting my screen back up because the damn thing keeps going black. I can't adjust the settings now. So we're like an hour into this, and we just talked about live selling, and that was it.
Yeah. I kind of agree with Johnny M here. It all evens out in the end. See where you end up at the end of the year. I would say the way I look at it is even more of a microeconomic view, though. I think each show is where it evens out in the end. I know Professor Moose Knuckle is, talking about the margin on each card. And while we can kind of debate where that's going to end up at, I don't think the goal is necessarily looking at the margin on each individual card. It's at the end of the show, you're going to judge success on whether or not you made enough margin on the bundle of cards you sold.
Right.
Because the nature of live selling is you're going to take some losses in a show.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You're going to take some really ridiculous wins too.
I kind of disagree with that. Maybe I have. I think I sold a Cooper Flag Bowman Chrome rookie that I paid $10 for. I put it in the stream because I was trying to boost a basketball audience, and I think it ended up selling for 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So I took a hit on that, but I sold some other cards. So it's kind of
right.
It's like taking that 20% offer on eBay, right? Sometimes you just have to let stuff go too.
But when you look at it as a card by card basis, you have to go into an auction marketplace with an acceptance of some losses.
Yes.
That is the inherent risk of an auction, right? And right. I see it too. I haven't run my own shows, but I do some live selling using a proxy live host, right? And I even recently I took a stance of, I keep track of my hits and my losses. And I went back and I said, okay, I'm gonna buy up copies of the cards I hit on. And then I'm gonna do a controlled release every week of those cards that have shown to be proven winners. And there are still times they sell for 99 cents. Mm-hmm. I can get one show, one room, they sell for $8. And then the next one, they sell for 99 cents. So you have to factor in some of these cards are going to be losses. What you're really aiming for is more are going to be wins than losses in that 2 hours.
And that's where I think selling the super low end cards is your best bet, because my margins are protected. If this goes for one bid, I made money on it. If no one bids, I still have the card and I'm not at no lesser position than I was before, other than I'm out the 15 seconds it took me to list it on the screen.
Right.
So I think that, yeah, even if, you try to run a few dollar card here or there and it doesn't get the bids, that's fine. That's a loss. But the very big bulk mass majority of what I'm putting on the screen, as long as it gets a bid, I made money.
Yeah. Now here's a topic of live selling. I know you have some strong opinions on, because we talked about him last show a little bit. Johnny says he's been having success with buyers shopping from the back wall lately. Moved some of my better inventory, has been sitting on eBay for months. So you don't really see a lot of value in a back wall, right?
Well, I do see value in it. I just don't think it's what I want to do.
Okay.
I don't like the presentation of it. I don't want the constant questions of, "Hey, run that Otani that's in the background." And
Okay.
I think it just detracts from what you're trying to do on the actual screen. I want the card that I'm putting on the freaking stand to sell. If I have, I would put those cards in my shop. Okay. So let's say I had a nice $100 Otani card, right? That's a back wall card, an example. I'll put it in my shop. And if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, got any nice Otanis?" Check out the shop. I got some nice Otanis in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they can buy it there. I don't want to have it on screen. I do not want that to be a focus. My show is, and this is my style. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing, Johnny. And clearly you're selling cards. So that's awesome. Power to you. But my style is more the sleek. I have an all black, profile. The lights are focused on that shiny card and featuring that card. It's the same reason I don't want to do a, Mark Stepnowski 93 Bowman card and put it in a one touch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to present my cards that way. I think I don't know. That's just not how I want to do it. So I choose not to do backwall stuff. Now, might I make a change of that opinion in the future? You guys know I can change my opinion. I do it all the time when I feel like it's going to fit in. I am definitely open to change. But at least for now, especially as I'm building my audience and I'm trying to keep it engaged and focused on the cards that I want to feature in that show, I'm just not using the back wall process. And I'm not sure even like what cards do I want to put on there? Then you got to kind of curate that for each show. And I don't have a lot of $100 Otanis and things like that I could even put up there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my stuff is PC, and I don't want to do that. And so, but yeah, if you've got stuff you're trying to move and it's been sitting and it's higher dollar stuff, yeah, I think the back wall is definitely something that, it's been proven to work. So I don't fault you for that at all. I just don't think it's for me.
So it's less of an opinion and it's more of choice for you. Like it's just
Yeah, for
not
sure.
your jam. So
Yeah, it's just not how I want to present in my shows.
yeah, get that. I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I want to take a moment and give a shout out to Jason's Card Exchange, who's on break at work and joining us here tonight.
Welcome to the show. Yeah, we got into so conversational. We didn't really have a chance to say, welcome everybody. We do a bi-weekly show now, 8 Central Standard Time every other week. So yeah, we appreciate you guys sticking with us. We know every other week can be hard to try to remember and stuff. Hopefully you're getting the notifications. If you're not, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that bell. Click that bell so that it does notify you when we go live. Then you don't really have to remember per se. It should be telling you when we're doing it.
Yeah. ASAL Cards is here also. Adam and Charlie, hope you're doing well. Missing the sales day videos, Adam.
I actually had somebody come into my Whatnot stream and be like, "Dude, are you going to do any more sales day videos?" Which is kind of funny. And a lot of people go in there and give me crap about giveies. Hey, Hey, what was my nickname before? I even forgot about it. What did they used to call me on this channel? I forgot. Do you remember I
Oh,
had a nickname they gave me for a
Cooter.
while? Cooter. Cooter. I don't know why I just drew a blank on that. I had somebody come in there, hey Cooter, what's your giveies for today? You know, like but that's fun. I like that part. And that's the one thing I actually enjoy about Whatnot that I didn't think was really part of it was the hangout part. So um but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have sales day videos. I'm pretty stretched pretty thin with the stuff I'm doing now, and sales have kept me pretty busy. I had I kid you not, I use those smaller like tote bags to take my mail in. I had 6 of them on Saturday
Yeah.
full. Um it was Whatnot static sales, it was Collect static sales, it was eBay, both eBay stores, it was Whatnot show sales, Whatnot static show sales. Like there's just a lot going on that, that I have to get to in a good way,
Yeah.
profitable way. Um, but the sales day videos just kind of can't take a priority on that one.
See, and me, I'm still a part-time seller. So if I fill this basket, I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I feel that in about the first 15 to 20 minutes in the morning before 5 a.m. I got that basket full,
Well, I mean,
but
in
that's
truth,
okay.
that's kind of how my day goes. I work cards for about 20 to 30 minutes before I go to work. I pack my overnights, and everything from the previous night is still in the basket. And then I take it out with me when I leave the house in the morning, and then I start over in the evening, 6, 7 o'clock, usually when I get home from work and settle in. And then we repeat the whole cycle.
Yeah, and I mean, that's still kind of basically my process. I just add a live show in for 2 hours at 4:30 a.m. That's
Yeah.
probably the big difference. And then a lot more packages.
Hmm.
Um, but it's I think if you truly want to grow and you really want to have a full online card selling business, I don't think you can deny either ways to sell. I think both pieces have to be there. I still subscribe to that. Um, you can do okay just selling live. You can do okay just selling on eBay, but I think once you get the two together, it really makes a difference.
It does make a difference. I would hesitate to say you have to do both together to grow, and I don't think that's what you really meant to
No,
say.
that's not what I
Um,
meant.
yeah,
I think
because I
to
think
find your maximum success.
well, what I would say is I think you are reaching a summit in your static stores and sales, and for you, that's a strong, convincing case to say, I got to add another channel, right?
Yeah.
For someone like me who's got plenty of room to grow yet in the channel I started on, I feel less of that pressure.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with keeping things the way they are either. If they're happy and you're happy and they work for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't tend to fit real well with my personality. I'm always kind of after the next thing, which has served me well generally in my life. But I also have to really think it through. I don't want to just jump into stuff either,
Right.
as much as possible. And I enjoy the live selling. I found a great time slot to do it that doesn't really interrupt the rest of my life, and it's been fairly successful, and it's helped the other arm of my business. So
Sure.
I haven't really seen a downside to it. There are times when that alarm goes off at 4 a.m. where I'm like, I actually have to get up and go do this. Um, but I would say that's the same for any type of job activity you have.
Yeah.
There are times when I sit down here and I got to fill orders and I'm like, "Ugh, I don't want to put another thing in an envelope. I'm over it." But you sold that card. You got to ship it out, right? I mean, that's not the
Yeah.
customer's fault. That's the problem. That's yours. So it's just if you don't enjoy it, I think it's going to be a really tough road um to stay on because it's grindy. Um there's volume to it. If you're doing what we're doing, I'm
Yeah.
speaking on. Um but it can also be very enjoyable. One of the things I really like about it is I'm buying bulk again, which I've really stopped doing because my store's been pretty full. So I just buy like a handful of stuff here or there, but then I don't get as good of prices. And now I can go back to buying like $75 5-row boxes and really maximizing money out of that.
Yeah.
Because I have a quick way to move it, an unlimited way to move it, versus eBay has a lot of limitations. At the level I'm at, especially.
Yeah. We also have another guest tonight, one of our regulars. Dan's here. He wants to know, Adam, do you have any downtowns or givvies?
I think he's asking you because he knows the answer from me. I got a givey for you, Dan. I give you one right to the upper lip.
Well, that was a spirited discussion on live selling. Do we want to talk about, we got about 20, 15 minutes left here. Do we want to talk about any other topics, or do you want to continue on with that?
No, I think we should cover some more topics. I kind of just wanted to give an update. It's been 3 to 4 weeks since I've, really been consistently doing 4, 5, 6 shows a week. So I just kind of wanted to give an update on my current experience in that, and I think we've talked it through pretty well.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about let's get a couple of quickies out of the way. The eBay label printing. It was funny because I was printing labels at like 4 a.m, which I know nobody else would insanely do. And so I noticed it right away. I didn't put anything in the Discord, I didn't think much of it. And then boom, it started hitting the Discord. Anybody notice the labels are more bold or different font? So one of the things, I think they're more legible personally. There's a lot of times where I'm looking at that ESUS number, right? The tracking number, and I have to go enter it in somewhere. And I'm like, is that an 8 or a 6 or a 9? I don't really question that now. It's more blocky and more obvious and not as bled, on the label itself. So I'm sure that was the biggest motivation to do it. eBay was probably getting frustrated with things not scanning or, tracking not showing up, missed deliveries, that kind of stuff. So this was a action they had to take to do that. I think that's why labels were down too. Remember when for a couple days there we all had trouble printing labels?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's why. I think they were going in there and they were probably like testing some different fonts and some printing, IT type junk, and kind of took it down just to make sure that they could get it working and have it be reliable. Because I haven't had any trouble printing labels since this has changed. So I'm pretty sure it'd be nice once in a while if eBay would actually tell you what the hell they're doing, so we're not just guessing. And maybe someday I can print a label. Because I only do shipping every 3 days now on eBay, which thank God I changed that, man. I would never keep up now. But I had some labels like I had to print that night. Like they were required before they would be overdue. And I'm like, how can you say I'm overdue when I can't even print the label? Like, how's that my fault?
Yeah.
So I'm like, God, don't tell me I have to call eBay now and be like, can you please take the overdue, mark off, I have plenty of room on there where I can have some defect and still be in seller plus and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that stuff is kind of frustrating when they don't tell you what's going on.
Yeah, I think first of all we need to make sure we frame this right. The change was just the font. It was bold. It was changed to a black print. The service was unchanged, right? Nothing changed there. I think what we need to do now is kind of watch that. Do we see an uptick in issues with ESC, or does it get better? Because ultimately,
I hope it gets better.
Right, that's what we all want. Because ultimately, the message I would give eBay is, hey, as ESE users, we don't need it prettier. We just need it more consistent.
Yeah, and based on how it looks, I definitely don't think it was like, oh, this looks nicer. I don't feel like it was that. I just think the legibility was better. I think what they did was probably spent some time because most of us are using thermal printers these days. So I think they maybe took some time and were like, okay, what can we use with a thermal printer that comes out nice? Right? Or even a laser for that matter, printing direct to an envelope, something like that. So I think when they took some time and kind of fiddled with it, this was sort of a font and a boldness or whatever that could work really well and would have less issues on the tracking side of things. That's my guess. Also, the QR code, they made it bigger.
They did make it
So it
bigger.
scans better now. So that was also a change. But you're right, the price is the same. It's still the same, going the same time frame. Still the same ESUS tracking system, envelope
Yeah.
tracking, like all that's the same. It's just sort of the presentation of the label, um, the clarity of the label, and then also the size of the QR. That's the changes. All good in my mind.
So really small things going on there, but high volume ESE shippers notice stuff like that right away, and it picks away at some trust. Oh, something changed. Now is my service?
It made me funny when it made me laugh when I saw the post in Discord. I'm like, oh, here we go. And it wasn't somebody that was complaining. They're just like, hey, did you notice this, or am I going crazy? And I'm like, yeah, no, it's totally different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to be a change for the better. I mean, I can't imagine they would put the effort into it if they didn't see like it was something they had to do.
The interesting thing to me
we'll see, I guess.
No communication, no posts, no messages, nothing. Just sporadic downtime, and then suddenly a new font on a label.
eBay is terrible with that for sure.
On a related note, Wolfie Joe is here. Hi, Joe. He wants to know if we've got any updates on eBay shipping charges.
No, I did send a message to the seller chat thing or whatever, chatbot thing, and I haven't gotten anything back. But yeah, I kind of asked about that, if they're still going to have some kind of deal with the post office for ground shipping. Mm-hmm. Right now, my plan, I think, none of us really know, I guess, what's going to happen until it happens. But I think my plan is going to be, because eBay always prompts you with the cheapest shipping option, right? When you go to print a label. I think what's going to happen is it's going to jump off that eBay ground advantage, and it's going to go to that UPS ground advantage, where UPS brings it to the local distribution center for wherever the delivery is going to occur, and then the post office takes it the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. That's going to still have that 4-ounce rate, 5-ounce rate, and I think 8-ounce rate is when it changes again, something like that. From what I understand, they're keeping that. Mm-hmm. So I think instead of it going to the USPS label at, for argument's sake, I'm just going to come up with a number, $4, and the UPS ground advantage is $4.52. So obviously we all went with the USPS labels. Now that's going to go to $7 or something like that if it goes right to the pound rate. Now that UPS option is going to pop up first and be like, hey, we're still doing it for $4.52 over here. So your rate is still going to go up because that UPS rate is higher now. Mm-hmm. They're not going to drop it by any measure. So assuming that rate stays the same, you're still going to pay more than you currently pay for ground advantage, but you're not going to have to pay as much as the eBay 1 pound rate. So in my head, that's what's going to exist. But we'll have to see. I mean, at some point, honestly, there could be a point in the future where it doesn't make it very feasible to just increase your price on your card to still warrant the free shipping, because the shipping is just going to be too damn expensive.
Yeah.
So you're better off then at that point lowering your card to market price or whatever price you need for it and charging the shipping.
Right.
So we have to kind of watch that part a little bit, I think. Multi-card sales, that's still the key. You still need to do that to keep those, to increase that margin, or at least make that margin on some of those cards.
Yeah. Yeah, that is going to remain unchanged, is that cart building behavior is the grail of low-end card selling.
Yeah, because I mean, we're going to run into that with Whatnot too. We're going to run into that with collects. Like the Postal Service is involved in all of it. So, whatever you end up doing on eBay, you're going to have to make some adjustment then on all those platforms as well.
Yep.
Even although the customer pays the fees there, so we don't have to necessarily care as much. But I mean, I'm still shocked when I sell a card for $2 on whatnot and they pay $5 shipping.
Right.
But are they going to still buy it at $2 and pay $7.50 shipping? Like, I don't know. So I don't know. It could get kind of weird on some of that.
Right.
You're going to have to try to bundle because that's the only way it's going to make sense for a lot of those shipping costs.
I think even though we didn't really have much of an update on it, I think the message we want to convey on that is, as a low end seller, you have to be ready to pivot at any time. And that means keeping tabs on your cost factors, and to your point, having a contingency plan in place if you need to pivot.
I think to be a successful business owner in anything, that is key. Businesses who refuse to change all go. So change is inevitable in your life. It's inevitable in your business. It's inevitable in economics, politics, laws, natural events. Like there is nothing that just stays completely static. So if you can't, try to make some bends as things happen and just throw your hands up and, wow, why are they doing this to me? Like that's not really gonna, you can do that for a second, but then you better be like, all right, what do I do? This is what I got to do now. And
right.
get down to it. Because that's where businesses get defeated.
Yep. So back to the label changes. Professor Moose Knuckle says, if the intelligent mail scanner reads a bolder barcode, better than right on. And that's how I see it too. Like if it helps the mail sorters work more effectively, and I don't know if you listened to my podcast this week, but it was actually about postage due.
Mm-hmm.
And the point I was making is that you can buy whatever label you want, but you're really just making a claim for what you think the postage will be. The mail carrier ultimately makes the decision, and this feeds into that. Like if something about that label was making that mail sorter automation machine kick it out, you were paying an upcharge no matter what. You had nothing to do with it, but you were still paying an upcharge. So if
or somebody was, or your customer was, somebody had to account for that.
So if it helps that, more power to it.
Yeah, I agree with Professor on this one too. I think the whole point here was to make it so that it was easier on the post office, not us, not the customer, but to make it easier on the post office, easier for them to scan. They're probably doing this 20 times before the thing picks up, and if they're trying to read those tracking numbers and they're all kind of bleedy and 9s look like 8s and 8s look like 6s, there's no positive in that. And they're definitely more legible now. I should have kept one. I could have showed it. I don't have anything right now. I didn't print any labels yet today, but
yeah.
I've
got a couple here. Let me just make sure I cover up the name, but it's a lot more blocky there.
Yeah, and you can see the QR code is actually a little smaller than that like postage statement there. Yeah. See how they have like the wording there with the price? So the QR code is actually a little smaller before. Now it's actually a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yep, for sure. Johnny actually says, I think the issue is with some of the postal employees and not the letter font.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There is some of that with audits that take place. They'll just grab a handful of envelopes to audit sometimes, and if you're in there, you might get kicked out, right?
They like to find reason to charge more.
Yes.
Just like an employee of any company, even though it's technically a public service, they still have costs and expenses and right now giant losses. So, they're trying to find some ways to curb some of that.
Right. How about a little bit of CDP before we wrap it up? Doesn't look like we'll get to PSA, but we're not typically a big grading conversation. So I think we jump right to CDP.
One quick comment on PSA is only going to take a minute. Mm-hmm. I've been selling a lot of my PSA graded stuff in my shop that it has sat for a long time because I just way overpriced it. The prices have caught up too, so that's part of it. But people just they're not going to sit around and wait for grading. Now they're just going out and buying graded cards and saying to hell with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting because now it's what 90 days, I think, before you can get a card back, and that's with like a higher level submission besides,
Yeah,
because they're not taking any low end or the
right.
regular submissions
Some
anymore.
reports are they got a 10 million card backlog.
And 10.6 million was the last thing that I had read. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of friggin' cards, and that's
Mhm.
a main reason why I've never done it. I don't want to sit on all that stuff, and yeah. If I
And
do
I think
anything, I'll get it graded at a show and pay the upcharge because then I can be done with it.
where it's gonna change some behaviors is there have been a lot of people who grade some questionable cards, and I think with the pricing change, like you can't afford to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So you're going to see in a while you're going to see less of that stuff in the market, probably those things that end up getting an 8 or a 9. You might see a decrease in the market, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of use for those. Um and when I see a box of graded cards on the table, I do like to look through it, and then I'm like, oh, they're all 8s.
Yeah. And I was fortunate because when I started my PC, I was only buying tens and they really weren't that expensive at the time. Many of them. Um, I mean, it was $5 to grade at the time when I got back into it and I was buying slabs. And I mean, that's an insane price now.
Yep.
$5 grading fee. Obviously, there was shipping and all that, but even that
Right.
was a lot cheaper, obviously.
Right.
Um, and yeah, it's insanity now. I still believe slabs back then was the best investment simply because of the fact that the process was going to get so much more expensive. And that's automatically going to add to some of the secondary value because people do price in their expenses of grading when they're looking at buying something. Why wouldn't you? It's still a cost. So
Yeah.
yeah. So automatically, if you're paying, $10 for a decent PSA 10 slab, that's a good deal because it costs you more than that just to grade it.
Yep.
But that's all I
All
have on
right.
PSA. I don't do a lot of that either, and it doesn't really change what I do, so or what we do.
So CDP, the noise is getting kind of loud about some of the decisions CDP has made. Now we've been longtime advocates of CDP. Makes a lot of sense in our business models, but even we have started to question some of those things and change some of the ways we looked at it. And specifically, I think we're talking about the bugginess. There's been some issues with inventory sync and sales, the unexpected downtimes, and then maybe the biggest mover was a planned increase in a la carte scans that was significant, not just a little bump, not like the extra penny or two we see from eBay and eBay standard envelope. That was CDP made a substantial change that has made a lot of people rethink, is that the right tool for my business model?
Yeah, and honestly, their change that made me more uh frustrated. I think that's maybe the right word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Was where they changed the lowest plan to now you can only list to one platform. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Come on. I already did the scans. I already did all that. Now you're going to make me pay for a higher plan to put it on another platform. That's the one that annoyed me the most. I understand them needing to charge more for scans and, pricing has to go up over time. And we were pricing it lower to try to get people in to use it. And, we were kind of maybe not alpha, but we were definitely beta users, right?
Yeah.
Um, and, they were starting to get a real customer base, a real name. That's who it was thrown out to. Well, what AI scanning program do you use? Well, I use Car Dealer Pro. Um, and they have a right to charge for that, you know, build up in their business name. But the fact that I mean, it's just, they took the screws to you by removing that other platform. Like, that's so annoying when literally doesn't cost them anything to add that. So, um, but yeah, a la carte. I mean, we said all along that a la carte didn't make sense for the cost. So we knew something was going to happen there. But yeah, I mean, honestly, when I started adding up the costs of listing static and eBay charging a higher percent and things like that, that is something I was thinking about when I was like, it makes sense to do some more live selling.
Yeah.
With the drastically reduced expenses. But I still believe Car Dealer Pro is the best program to use because of the cross listing and the inventory management, even though it doesn't always work very well. It's gotten better, but not great. So I will still be using it. Now I had 2 Car Dealer Pro accounts. I did cancel the other one.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, I don't even know if I should say this out loud because Car Dealer Pro maybe didn't think of this and now they're going to nail me. But what I do is I log into, because you make your connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll connect my one eBay store and then I'll, let's say it's a sports store. I'll do my sports scanning. I'll upload them all. Then I'll disconnect that store and connect my non-sports store and then scan and list to that store.
Okay.
Because everything's going to the same whatnot and going to the same collects. It's just the eBay is what has changed when I'm listing. So gonna try that, see how that goes. The only thing that kind of throws me for a loop on that one is how would inventory management work then in that case?
Yeah.
If you're not connected. I don't know.
Yeah. For me, I did back down my plan from, I think it was majors to minors, something like that. And then I have a bucket of a la carte scans that still keep me whole, and doesn't go down too fast because I'm not mass scanning a lot of paper cards anymore. But I think you have to judge CDP differently depending on whether it is simply a listing tool for you or if it has become part of your operational infrastructure. By that I mean not
Management.
just listing, but inventory management
Yeah.
and everything else. If it is just a listing tool, I think it's much easier to say, no, these changes, I'm out. If
Yeah, it's not
you,
really worth the increase if that's all you're using it
yeah,
for.
if
I
you
agree.
built it into your business as a major piece of the infrastructure and you're using it for multi-platform listing, managing the inventory and all of those, then I think it's still solving a harder problem that a lot of alternatives can't solve yet.
Yeah, and that's where I think they kind of reevaluated themselves and they're like, hey, we got something that now at this point that nobody else can offer, and it is necessary for a lot of businesses. I mean, um, and that's the game changer for me. I can go list on the eBay bulk tool for free. Yes, I know how to use it. It doesn't list as
Oh,
well as Car Dealer Pro even, but I
we
can't
used
send
it for
stuff
a
to what.
while before Car Dealer Pro made some advancements.
Yeah, because I didn't like Car Dealer Pro 1.0 was really, really bad.
Yeah.
I think we're on like 2.1 now, but anyway, um, but the cross listing, all those things, especially now with as I'm just as involved in Whatnot now as I am on the eBay static store, I have to be able to list stuff to Whatnot
Yeah.
in bulk. Listing on listing a random item on Whatnot in your store is a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have very good description fields and like there's no AI, so you have to type everything in for the card and the description, like the whole thing is just not good. Whatnot's not really specializing in static selling, not yet anyway. So that part is not very good. So you definitely want to do it through cross listing.
Mm-hmm.
That has enough value for me right there. I mean, I sell anywhere from 5 to 20 cards in each live show now statically through my store. So that easily is worth the cost of what that little bit that Car Dealer Pro has jumped it up.
Right.
It did force me into the higher plan though. Like I didn't even care about the a la carte, whatever, a la carte costs more, so be it. It was kind of underpriced, if you will, for a bit anyway. But now I had to up my plan just so I could list on another platform. I didn't need more scans. I just needed the ability to get on the other platform. That was the thing where I was like, oh, you suck.
Yeah, I was
So
fortunate that I'm still grandfathered in. I didn't have to do some of the changes you made with the second store and stuff. That's what got you caught up in that. But
yeah.
I'll hold that as long as I can.
Yeah, well, I would assume at some point they'll force everybody into the new structure, but
Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So no, it really
does,
doesn't matter. Honestly, it's like $10 more a month, so it's not.
yeah.
I mean, it's not a super game changer for me. It's whatever, but and I'll try to use the listings. I'll use as many of the listings as I can, and that's the best I can do.
Yeah.
If I lose some every month, then what are you going to do?
Yep. Designated Heckler says, following up on our Discord discussion about the drastic CDP price increase for a la carte scans, I'm only on eBay and scan about 2,500 per month. I'm making the jump to Card Luna. I'll report back later. Yeah, we'd appreciate that. It's always good to assess other options. It's good
It's
to
actually
have
Card Luma, not
Card Luna.
Luna.
You're right.
Just so everybody has it right.
Yeah.
I've heard good things. Their AI is apparently very attuned to the card scanning. Um, I don't know what they charged. I can't remember what they charged, but it was like half, I think, of what Card Dealer Pro charged for as many scans. Or it was the same price, but you got more scans, something to that effect. Either way, you got more for your money. Now, one of the things I always try to caution people on this, like, oh, here's the new thing. I'm going to do that because it's a much better deal. What do you think is going to happen if everybody goes to Card Luma? What is Card Luma going to do?
They're going to up their
So,
prices.
so to some degree, you're going to be chasing that next, greatest thing for the cheapest price. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, especially like based on what you're telling us. Yeah, I only do eBay. Well, then it doesn't matter. Like you don't need Card Dealer Pro, but
Yeah.
Card Luma is going to want to stay competitive. They're going to want to stay in the game. They're gonna have to up the prices at some point too.
Yeah. Boomslang says he quit CDP about a month ago.
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on what you're using it for. There's a lot of value in it for what I do. So I have zero plans to leave Card Dealer Pro at this point.
Agreed.
But I get it. We get it. We get it, and they are not flawlessly operating either. So there's that on top of it. So I mean, I had that complaint last summer when all my stuff was all screwed up in my Card Dealer Pro account. I'm like, dude, I'm paying for these scans. I scan them in and they don't work. And then I got to pay for the next scans. Like there's no way to recover scans that don't work. That was super frustrating. So, I mean, yeah, you can contact them and they'll throw some free scans in your account or whatever. But, once I got that figured out, at least that helped. But yeah, I stay tuned. I would imagine Card Dealer Pro is going to keep working on new features and they're going to keep charging you more for them. Such is life.
All right, we'll take one random here before we wrap it up a little bit. Dr. Mantis T-Boggin is here and says, do you ignore lowball offers or reply to them? I sometimes feel like sending item numbers of sellers who are offering the same card cheaper.
Yeah, I do. I took offers off for a little while and I didn't like it. I like getting a conversation started about selling a card because there's buy-in automatically from that buyer. They've got time invested in it and they have to decide how much cheaper do I need to get this card for me to commit to it. Yeah. So, if I'm charging $1.99, they offer me $1, I come back at $1.89. It takes me seconds to do it. And I get a lot of $1.89 sales, so it's fine. Mm-hmm. Now, if I have $100 card and they offer me $1, I'm probably just going to decline it. So there's like a limit to it for me.
Yeah. So I took offers for the most part. I've taken offers off anything under $20. But I didn't do that the first couple years. That's a relatively new change I made. Just the past couple months, I would say. And really it was about, where do I want to spend my time? Do I want to spend my time negotiating on these lowball offers so I can get another 40, 50 cents on a card? I didn't want to spend my time there. So I put in that upper limit. Another thing you can do is put in some minimum offers if you want to play in that area. But when I do get offers, in fact, I inadvertently changed something just last week, and all of a sudden I started getting offers, low end offers And some of these lowball offers, I was like, where the heck is this coming from? I had accidentally, absent-mindedly mass edited some stuff and turned some back on. And instantly I was getting, a dollar, a dollar,
Yep.
a dollar. My personal philosophy on that is I'm going to reply at least once with a reasonable concession. And then I'm going to see what they do on the second one. If they come up a decent amount, I'll continue to engage in the discussion. If they offered me $1 and they come back and say $1.10, then I'll usually just decline and say, okay, you're not serious.
Correct. I do that too.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other reasons I wanted offers back on is I get a lot of offers from, like, let's say it's a Ninja Turtles card buyer, right? He might send me $1 offers on 5 cards that I have listed at $1.99. I'll take $1 for that card.
Yeah.
It's a low ball offer, but I've got 5 cards I can sell at once. I paid pennies, if that, for those cards, and I want to move them.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to sell. I don't really want it to sell for $1.99, to be honest with you. I'd rather sell 5 of them at $5 and get them all out at once. One shipment, one set of supplies, one 30-cent transaction fee, right? One, one envelope, one label, right? All that. Put them all in one card saver. I'd rather have that. To me, that is a higher ball offer than the $1.99 per individual sale.
I mean, at the same time, you also have coupons out there with a substantial discount for, I can't remember what yours is at, like 9 cards or something like that.
10 cards, 50% off.
Yeah. So they still have that opportunity to move that volume.
Yep.
So I think I think this one is open for debate on what you want to spend your time on, but I would say that you want to have at least one of those cart building options out there.
Yeah, and I want all the cart building options out there because I have lots of cards to list and no room to list them. So I want that sale. I want the velocity. I'm starting to see more value in that I can sell a lot of cards, maybe for a little less than I wanted to, but I'm getting a lot more dollars at one time in the end. So I'm already sitting down. I'm already shipping. It doesn't take me any more effort to ship 5 Turtles cards at $1 a piece, using that example. No, like I said, if it's a $20 card and they offer me $1, that's different. Obviously, I'm not going to take that. So that gets annoying, but I honestly don't get a lot of that. You're right. In most cases, people go in and they're like, well, I don't want to pay $2 for a turtle card. Oh, I just have to buy 10. Okay, I'll order 10. And it's never even a discussion. It's never even an offer. They just get them for $1 a piece when they bought 10. So having a strong coupon will remove a lot, in my experience, removed a ton of those low ball offers anyway.
Yeah.
And I only do the half price on the coupon up to $3.99 on a card. So any card priced over $3.99, it doesn't qualify for coupon anyway.
Yep. Similar. And why do you do that?
Because I'm trying to move the cards that are not the better value. I'm trying to build a store that has more higher value cards, and I want to maximize, my return out of those cards.
Okay.
But all the cards that I have in there for $1.99, I have pennies into them, so I'm happy to let them go in bulk.
I have an eBay operational reason why I have mine set. I think it's at $3.79. I know it seems like an odd number, but there's a reason why. And that's because when you set up your coupon and you go to add in the cards that you want to be eligible, there is I think it's a 10,000 card limit on any one coupon. So I was initially going to do anything $3.99 or less would be eligible, but I was over that threshold and I didn't want people to try and use a coupon and be like, hey, why isn't this card eligible? So I dropped the level to ensure that everything at that level is going to be eligible.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true because my coupon has like 30-some thousand listings in it.
I don't know. You might want to check that again.
Yeah, no, I literally just did. I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
I'll send it to you tomorrow. So the other thing is you can make more than one of a coupon. So you could put 10,000 in one coupon, 10,000 in another, if there is that limit. I haven't seen that. My
Yeah,
coupon has
I wouldn't want to have
tens of
multiple
thousands.
coupons for the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying you could.
Yeah,
That might not be right for you, but if somebody did want to look at that, they could.
yeah. Yeah, I actually had to play with the coupon settings to find where was a sweet spot where I could get the majority of my low end listings eligible for it.
Okay.
And it may be different for the type of discount you're doing too.
Yeah, because I think it charges the highest card price, right? Or aren't you doing it that way anymore? Mine's literally buy 10, get half price.
So
It's that simple.
mine's a lucky 7. It's buy 7 or more and get 40% off, and you pay full price for the first 7.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why you have that limit.
Or not the first 7.
The first card.
Yeah, it is something like that. Yeah.
That would be why then. That's a totally different coupon than because mine doesn't have a limit. I literally have like 40,000 listings in that coupon.
Really?
Yep. Let me see here. Oh, it's not under advertising. Which one is it under? Is that under marketing?
I think so.
Discounts?
Review discounts.
I think it's discount.
Yeah. Yeah, here's mine. Let's see here. So you can do rule-based or manual. Extra percent off of Y or more items is what I'm running. Rule-based discounts can include up to 20,000 items.
Screen went black. I forgot to reactivate it. Yeah, this one has. Hold on. No, I forgot what it was. It went away. This coupon has 38,252 items in it.
Okay.
So, and that's everything in my store under $3.99 or less. So yeah, I guess it depends on the type of coupon you're running.
So what type is that?
That's a buy one. No, that's not right. 10 cards or more, get 50% off. Simple.
So that's the coupon type?
Oh, I don't know. Does it show a type?
Yeah, like my type is extra percent off Y or more items, and then you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's. Let's see. Where do I find it?
But you said yours was buy X, whereas mine's flip flopped and it says extra blank percent off X or more items.
Right. Mine is not that. Where was that? God dang it. Oh, here it is. Discounts, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And if you go in the edit discount, you should see the settings.
Go to edit.
Yeah.
My type is extra. Well, it says example, extra 20% off 3.
That's what mine is.
Mine is set at extra 50% off 10 or more items. So that's my discount.
So that's interesting. So we're using the same type of discount. We just have a different percentage and number of cards to qualify.
Right. But you're charging full price for the first card, right?
It's whatever the default is. I'd have to look at the terms and conditions.
Yeah, because my type is extra percent off Y or more items. That's what my type is. That's the name of the code. And then my discount that I have in there is 50% off 10 or more items.
Yep. Mine's.
And then my price range is $1.99 to $3.99. And I have
underneath your price range filter, does it say anything about how many items can be included?
No, it says rule-based discounts can include up to it does up to 20,000 items.
Okay. So how do you have 30,000 in there?
I don't. I have 18,254 in there.
There we go. So you have 38,000 items in that price range, but it just grabs a random,
I guess so.
18,000 or whatever.
I wonder why it's 18,254. It seems weird. You think it would just take 20?
Yeah, that is weird if you have a bigger pool in that price range. Like I had to lower my price range so that it gave me room for new listings as I put them in there.
Oh, sure.
And then it automatically throws them in. So, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
learn something every day, right?
Yeah. That was some thrilling coupon talk. I'm sure everybody really enjoyed.
It's like soccer practice last night. I was showing them how to switch positions, and the flankers have to stay out wide, the wingers and stuff. And they're like, can't we just scrimmage? Why are we doing all this like listen stuff? And
Right.
I'm like, you're 11 now? Time to learn how to actually play the game, not just run around and kick a ball. So they didn't like that. I made them run. So
we got one more talking point for the night, and that is the GOAT Card Show, Sunday, June 28th, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the historic Riverside Ballroom.
Yeah, so we've got our charity lockdown now. Actually, this flyer might be slightly out of date. We got Mana for Life as our charity. So we're collecting food items, non-perishable food goods. Each item will get you a ticket into the drawing for the Paul Horning JSA authenticated autographed jersey, Packers legend here in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
We got BB breaks. They're committed. We don't know what they're going to be breaking yet, but we should find that out very soon. Lots of awesome products coming out. I'm hoping it's Topps Chrome Cosmic Football. That would be epic. I would buy into that one.
Be a banger. Yeah.
Yeah. So depending on prices, I'd be in on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we've got our food menu, which we don't know what that'll be yet, but it'll be delicious. We've got our ATM on site. We've got free parking, free admission, packs for the kids. I just made a whole ton of new kids packs. So we got some cool stuff to give away. We've got the Find a Goats, with the Gold Goat. Gets you some bucks to spend at the show. Find the goat at the dealer's table and bring it on up to us at the head table.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie and I will be doing a live show from the stage as we normally do, showing some pickups. My pickups are probably going to be different at this show. I'm buying a little different right now with looking for live bulk. I might be coming up with stacks of generic cowboy cards and stuff, which I haven't done a lot of. So I'm looking to buy on a bigger bulk now that I can move this stuff faster. So I should be getting better prices too, which I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. So we might not be, fighting over the same box as much.
We might not, as long as I can buy the box for one whole decent price. And there's no fight. I just walk away with it all.
Right.
We'll see. I'm pretty good for now. I bought 9 boxes, I think, from Jeff. Still got a lot of good stuff in there. What's funny is I got 2 4-row boxes of baseball prospects and stuff like that. There's Trout stuff in there and inserts and things.
Yeah.
After the first week, in one of the boxes, I had 2 full rows sold out.
Really?
That's crazy. That's a lot of cards.
That's great.
Yeah. Plus whatever static I would have sold, outside of that. So, if you're getting the right stuff, you're getting the right prices, and you can move stuff in a live show, there's something to be said for that. Don't expect $100 prices for $1 cards. If that's what you're going into live thinking you're going to get, think you're going to be disappointed. That's not how it works anymore. So, prices have come down from that moon a bit. Well, except for some of those, I still love watching those Facebook shorts of the overpayments. They make me chuckle.
Yes.
Bid. Come on, guys. This is Shohei Ohtani in a pink optic. Like, so what? I can't even believe we found one of these cards. Bid. 1 second. Bid.
I think you and I have found different experiences on pink parallels. I find that nobody wants them, and if they do, they want to pay the lowest I can possibly let them move for. But I think you were telling me you actually sell a lot of them.
Tons. I sold an Ozzy Albies Stadium Club pink. I think I actually shipped it out already. I was going to pull it out, but I think I shipped it. Yeah,
Maybe
I
you're
sold an Ozzy.
colorblind and they're not actually pink.
They're what?
Maybe you're colorblind and they're not actually pink.
No, they're totally pink. Come on. You've seen them. You've seen the Stadium Club pink. I sold an
Are you
Ozzy
sure they're
Albies
not
for
the
$2.99. I got
blades?
$3 for that pink Ozzy base card. Well, base parallel, but
Nice.
yeah, go pink. So those of you who are interested in a fun whatnot show, I got one scheduled on the Dollar Box Whatnot channel. I'm doing Curry and LeBron, and I have tons of Curry and LeBron, lots of inserts, a couple of parallels, some fun stuff. So come check that out. Get in on some Curry and LeBron if you're interested. I'm
You
going
got
to
your
let the show
thumb
go.
You want to throw up there?
Huh?
You got your show thumb you want to throw up there?
No, I should though.
You should.
Yeah, I don't. I got to start getting
Oh,
better at advert. Well, I post to this whatnot, or I post to this YouTube channel the link to my whatnot show every day. So you can simply just come here later. Actually, it might even be on there already. I can't remember if I sent it to YouTube yet or not. I probably did, but anyway, if you look at the posts on this channel, you'll see the YouTube link right there.
There you
But
go.
bookmark the show 4:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we'll sling the rock like these guys do, right? Some kaleidoscope LeBron there. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't run. I did a Brady and Mahomes show that was very, very successful. It was actually the show that told me, "Hey, I can have fun doing this and make some money." That was the clincher.
That's your breakthrough.
That was my breakthrough show. So I'm trying that with basketball this time. I'm sure it'll go off track and obviously somebody's going to ask for Wemby, which whatever. But I'm sure somebody will get in there. Will be like, "Hey, got any other Lakers?" Or you got any, we'll get some other things added in there too if there's side interests, side quests in that live show. But otherwise, we're going to focus on LeBron and Curry, and somebody's going to end up with a sweet stack of one of those two players or both of those players,
There you go.
walking away with it in a nice live show event.
Okay.
So that's tomorrow morning, 4:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.
For you early birds out there. All right.
Well, it could also be you late birds.
That's true.
It depends on perspective. Also, that's 2:30 a.m. West Coast time.
There you go.
So
Also,
that would be late birds.
5:30 a.m. East Coast time.
Correct. 5:30 a.m. East Coast time. You know what? I thought about this the other.
For those of you in the mountains, that's 3:30.
3:30. You're right. So I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, why am I successful at all at 4:30 a.m.? And I'm like, man, I'm hitting a couple of interesting groups of people. I've got like the after bar crowd, the late night crowd, the people who can't sleep in the middle of the night, get up and shop on whatnot because they don't want to wake their spouse. The people who stay up late, they just finished their Netflix program or Euphoria, and now they're shopping on Netflix or shopping on whatnot. And then I've also got the people on the East Coast getting ready for work, and like I think I've hit like an interesting demographic of a few different crowds.
What after bar crowd on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Well, I also do Saturday and Sunday shows and Friday shows.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So I'd be getting that. You don't think anybody stays out to the bar till 2 a.m. on a Tuesday? Don't you live in Wisconsin?
Not that many. And then
enough that could bid on cards, especially after some drinks.
Maybe.
So, and remember, you can bid on your phone, so you can do it from anywhere. You can do it while you're in the bar.
That's true. A lot of your bidders are sitting on the toilet, I'm sure.
That's fine too. Gotta have your phone. You gotta have your phone in there. You need something to do.
All right, let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
So tonight we found out that Adam is a pickleball seller. We talked about live selling can also be a traffic engine, so don't sleep on those statics in your store. We talked about feeding those live requests in your live selling shows is a great way to fuel the room and pivot. Adam graduated from eBay Live Selling School. Congratulations. It's graduation season.
Yeah.
Are you having family and friends over for a little get
I
together?
I feel like I deserve initials after my name now.
Yeah,
Like it
Esquire.
should be the dollar box, eBay e dot L dot P, eBay Live Pro, something. I don't know. I need some
ESP,
initials after
eBay
my name.
selling expert.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
We also found out that eBay Static is still Adam's ride or die and will
Yeah.
never go away.
No.
We talked about the honeymoon being over on eBay Live. Things are coming back to earth. eBay Standard Envelope had a fashion show with their labels this weekend. Did it make a difference? Who knows? Time will tell, but mostly it just looks like a cosmetic facelift. Why grade when you can buy graded cards at this point? Great point tonight. And then a message to CDP: don't harsh my buzz, man.
Yeah. Quit wheezing my grindage.
There you go.
You
There you
know?
go. So, pretty topic filled show tonight. We talked about a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I kind of like the 2 week space. I feel like we really have a lot to bring to the table.
Mhm.
In a bi-weekly show, and it just something more to anticipate, and I'm sure we'll have more 2 weeks from now. So put it on your calendar, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you're notified. The next live show will be in 2 Wednesdays from today, 8 Central Standard Time. Well, 8:20 Central Standard Time, I guess.
Mhm.
When we finally get to it, but we
Yep.
promise we'll be on. It's probably not going to be at 8 o'clock, just so you know.
All
But
right.
that's
So
when it's scheduled for.
we will see you all next week. Adam, do the thing.
Remember, you can't sell what you don't list. And oh man, what was the rest of it? I forgot. You can't sell what you don't list unless you do it live.
There
Is that
you
what it
go.
was? That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Have a good
You
2 weeks,
can't sell what you
everyone.
don't list unless you do it live. Bye, everybody. Good luck with your sales, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 and 2.